All right, guys, before we jump into the episode, I do want to give an announcement. Meraki's going to be back February 23rd at the Foundry SF. We're going to be teaming up with Very Good Beat Club and Beat Lab for their monthly out there called Vibe Check. So, yeah, me and Jelly are going to be representing Meraki on that one. There is open decks. So hit up Very Good Beat Club to be a part of that. Also, we have vendors and just a very sick new location out there. So make sure to go on Eventbrite and get your tickets and see you there. Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the George.Daniel podcast. I am your host, George.Daniel. And before we begin this lovely episode, I would love to give a shout out to our sponsor, Liquid Death. You can go find them at www.liquiddeath.com. But in other news, Matt, how are we doing?
I'm good, man. Chilling.
How was the week?
It was good. A little busy at work again, but same old stuff, you know.
Yeah, this is gonna be a fun one. I think this one our audience would get to know you a little bit better. As you can tell via the cameras and everything, this is a solo ep. So yeah, it's episode 11. So I just kind of wanted to give a recap of the last 10 that we had. I think we've been doing this for 4 months, 5 months.
Yeah, it's gone fast, dude.
Yeah, it's insane.
And we're just doing the bi-weekly, but hopefully we'll go weekly soon.
Yeah. So it's been super fun, and all you guys have been super supportive. And we appreciate you.
Yeah, definitely.
And yeah, just thank you guys. This has been a fun project. Every time that I go out, someone new taps my shoulder and lets me know that we're doing something. So that's super, super tight. So yeah, don't stop doing that, even if I'm awkward about it, because I will be awkward about it. But yeah, Matt, so far, you as my producer, my guy, this whole thing is because of you. I'm just a boy with a dream. So kind of walk me through your experience thus far with it.
It's been dope, honestly, dude. I mean, I wanted more practice, and I like podcasting my own solo. Well, I guess it's my solo podcast, but I always have hella guests on. But I just don't do it enough that I was getting the practice. So like when you reached out, I was almost like, oh shit, this is like perfect, because I get to experiment more, and I'm constantly buying new equipment. So I'm like trying to test out, and we get to test almost on the weekly and trying different things. That's why every episode you'll see a new angle or a new camera pop up or something that I'm trying, and it's been cool. So it's almost like I appreciate you reaching out and hitting me up and doing this. So
I mean, honestly, without you, there would be no podcast. Oh, but with that said, every time someone comes up to me, just know that I know you're seeing my face, but I always tell people that it's me and Matt,
I appreciate it.
Because it's for real. I ask the questions, I bring the guests or whatever, but everything that you see, the angles, the different, cut-ins and everything else, that's my guy over here. But yeah, dude, starting from episode one was definitely in my head, a practice one.
Yeah.
So we did it with someone who's someone familiar, but with both of us.
Definitely. Love Allison.
So that was super fun with Allison. And
perfect episode 1, I think, because it was someone we both I knew too, so it was kind of.
It was fun.
Comfortable.
Yeah, exactly. It was exactly what I imagined it to be. Allison talking and me sitting there responding to her, which was really fun. And you can kind of even see it as you watch all the episodes, you can kind of see the comfortability with me in front of the camera and everything. So that's my first time really proper trying to do this, on my own. And yeah, it was so much fun. And Allison was the perfect guest for that. She has such a great story with her dad and everything, alongside with what she has going on with the rummagery. So like, yeah, we're definitely gonna like have something soon with her.
Yeah.
So stay tuned for that. That one's gonna be super fun. And yeah, let's just say we're not gonna be in studio for that one. But then like coming from that, it was a kind of like a super left turn, with John. But it was someone who I knew, someone who I respected and everything. And like, it was just going to be my first time trying to interview someone, like he was the first time that I like really like had questions for, and like
your prep work was impressive.
Yeah. And like, I even emailed him like all the notes and everything that I had down. Then like, yeah, you can tell that on that one, it wasn't just me hanging out with my bud Allison. It was like, it was like a proper like, oh shit, like I can't just throw it to Matt, like it's like, yeah, but that one was fun, and that one was like a good, like that one was so much like practice. And I was like how I kind of go into my mixes when I'm DJing. Like I sometimes over prepare, and that will for this instance, like over preparing fucking paid off. If not, I wouldn't know how to lead a conversation or like steer it to something more fun towards the end of the episode and everything else like that. It was just like a really well thought out podcast. And that one was like, yeah, and it was fun just like to hear, like you can see him slowly like get more comfortable, and it was fun. And I hope that happens with every guest. I mean, I hope that they're comfortable enough to be like themselves right away.
This room's a little
but it's intimidating, dude. It's intimidating once you get into the studio and you see all the lights, you see all the decor and everything. Like you're like, oh shit, I'm in it, And yeah, that's exactly how I felt when I first came into the studio. It was very, very much like, oh shit, I'm in the internet, like I'm like in the matrix right now. And it's it was cool. But yeah, like with John, it was fun knowing that I had the next guest already like planned, which was Ivan.
Yeah, that was cool. Back-to-back fashion.
Yeah.
But different styles of fashion.
Exactly. So like we came in like hard with like not just like DJs, And like the focus of this podcast is for anyone and everyone. But it's just been that like the people who reach out tend to only be musicians because that's my circle for the most part. But we're going to have different mediums, of art, of lifestyles, of this, of that, soon to come. But yeah, just stay tuned. But with Ivan, it was fun because I knew if I set up Lil Jon a little bit for some questions, I'm going to ask the same questions, but in a different light, It's like, that's with the homie. So I can kind of like poke fun at him and like, and that one was fun. That one was just like a homie. His mom fucking called.
That was actually hilarious.
That was the first time that we ever had someone call during the podcast.
That was pretty funny.
Yeah. Out of those three, Matt, which one was your like? Which one of those episodes were you like, oh shit, this one's like actually like funny? Because you're into like comedy podcasts.
Yeah, I like a lot of. I mean, I'll do some other types, but mostly I just do the comedy podcast. Allison's is just so naturally funny to me. Like we work together. Yeah. But the whole first episode vibe was always in the back of my head, wanting everything to be perfect. So I wasn't able to fully get into it. But by the time we hit Ivan's episode, I knew Ivan. I watched him come into the shop when he was just a little tiny kid and just watched him grow into what he grew into. And so that one felt like that was super fun. I probably enjoyed that one a little bit more just because I was more relaxed. Right. Even though it was Allison, it was
It was the first.
It was the first time we were doing it.
Yeah,
So
it was the first one.
I wanted it to be good.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, definitely the one with Ivan was like a lot of fun. That was definitely like home field advantage. Like there's, nothing but love there. And it was cool because I knew I only had him for that night. So like he's performative as well as I am, so like we see the lights, we see the cameras, we're going to fucking do some shit,
I know.
I said it on the Allison episode early. This is a character of who I am. This is a little bit exaggerated, or a little, a peek into my mind kind of. So just bear with me. Some things you're not going to like. I don't like everything of myself either, so
We're definitely our worst.
Yeah. So yeah, just bear with me. And then who was our fourth episode? Was it Alexander or Jordan?
Let's see. It was Alexander. I believe.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, dude. And then that
episode killed.
That one is the one that we started our fucking our sponsorship with our lovely Liquid Death, dude. That was the first episode. That one was so much fun. Because then like we finally put up like not just people's Instagrams, but we put on like an ad, at the beginning and the end, So that was so much fun. Yeah, that one was honestly kind of surreal. It felt like I was doing a play.
That one was sick. He was a cool dude.
Yeah, Jordan was also family, So like now I'm gonna go see him tomorrow. I'm not gonna say what club because he's gonna play twice when this one finally comes out. So yeah, I'm gonna go to both of them anyways. So yeah, shout out to Jordan. And yeah, that one was fun because it felt like it was the first time where me personally got to like talk shop for a long period of time.
Yeah.
Where mostly it's just like me, or like when you go like after parties, you'll like get more, like you'll get 10 minutes versus at the club where you only get like 2 or 3. Mm-hmm. Like this was like the first time where I got to sit down with someone who's my peer, who is honestly at a higher level, caliber DJ for sure, but also just like known in the scene. So like like it was like a fun for me to be like, oh okay, those are the steps that you've taken, like blah blah blah. And like that's what like most of the conversations are, is just like I want to learn how the fuck you did it or how you're doing it, not only because I want to like learn from you, but maybe you are doing something wrong where like I'm like, oh, but this homie did it this way, maybe you should try it that way, and like you'll see that like it works out, Definitely. And that's like like with these long form conversations I get to use you as an example, and be like, nah, but this homie did it this way. And like, I can go into detail, and be like, but this is why. Also, here's a clip. like
that's the dopest part. It's like everyth's documented. There it is. You can reference it back.
So
I love YouTube.
Yeah. So like, it's fucking sick. It's sick. And then, like with the Jordan one, like it was like finally someone who I could like really be like, hey, like, with what you're doing with Boots and Cats and like where you want to go, how do those like align, and like we're both very early in our careers, and like, but we should start thinking of those things. Definitely. It's like, all right, so like how are we gonna not just boost up the label or the collective, but also myself, and how am I not gonna be bigger than X or Y is bigger than Z. So yeah, it was fun and it was a good conversation. He's the first one to hit 200 views.
I know.
I think we're like at 215 by the time this is out.
Tell it good. It's better than any of my episodes.
Dude, like honestly, that one was cool. That one, like, 4th episode, we have a fucking sponsor. I think that was also a big reason why you guys started watching, you fucking haters. You're like, oh, fucking, they got a sponsor. You're like, blah, blah, blah.
Like, oh, it's just legit?
Yeah, like, dude, we're doing something. Like, believe in us. Like, we're doing it. We're doing it.
I was shocked, too. But.
Yeah, like, it's crazy. It was also, like, it's fucking Liquid Death.
I expected it. I just didn't expect it that quick.
Yeah.
That was pretty dope.
Like, it's not like, fucking, I don't know, like some, Michelada shit, Not yet.
I was like, we welcome you.
Yeah, we will. Yeah, like, it's fucking sick. It felt like, dude, that was a real, like, weird moment for myself, because it was like we have a sponsor. The episode itself did really well. It was with someone who I think like the community respects and everything. So like it kind of legitimized everything, versus the first three where it's just like, well, these are like my buds, and the Allison one did great and it's still doing great. But it was like, these are my buds, you know? And like, yeah. And then we like, I mean, like fast forward to like where we are now, like with like having Thomas on, and Alex, who's also a photographer and a DJ now, and then having Johnny Michigan, like that one's gonna be fucking insane, and that one's gonna be sick, and like it was the first time that I had 3 people on, you know. Like, yeah, and it like kind of like fell on our laps, but we, you know, as real
improvised.
Yeah, we improvised it and we fucking got it done. But yeah, no, that one was a dope episode, and Thomas is a fucking fool, just in general. But and then like the cool, like the first like episode that I ever had where I met someone the night of was episode 5.
Yeah, dude.
And it ended up being one of my favorite episodes.
I had no idea you just met him.
Dude, it was honestly one of my first, like it felt like I was making a friend, like live on camera.
I found out live too that you guys just met each other when it was happening. I was like, oh damn, I thought they knew each other.
Yeah, and that one was really cool. He brought his girl, so like the Ivan one, my girl was here, so like she, like it was cool.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, so it was like when like a joke didn't land necessarily on me, it would land over there, you know. So like
you hear her giggling.
Yeah. So like it was fun, and it was like a super unique experience where we had someone live, you know, who wasn't on the mic, but like we can look at for reinsurance. Like
that's literally the reason why I added this mic right here, just in case there's an extra person. Right. I can just like reach over and be like, here you go.
Yeah. Nah, dude. See, and like those are the things that like Matt thinks of. You hear that, everyone? See, I'm just the dumbass who just rambles about bullshit, you know?
Balance.
Yeah. But yeah, that one was the first time that I met someone live. And it was cool because I didn't know. I came into it very like, oh, I'm going to be an interviewer and like blah, 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 and like all this shit. And I'm like, oh, dude, you're just a regular kid. Like, dude, hell yeah. And we're like roughly the same age and everything. But like he loves his body and I hate it. You know, like he's like all about his mentals and all this shit. And
I follow him, so I've seen his posts now.
And I'm like, bro, like, dude, you're fucking killing it. And it's also all his releases have done really, really well. And like people are starting to play them and everything. So shout out 888 Thieves.
Yep.
Yeah, he's the homie and he's been doing really well. He's been, I think he's going to play, I don't know where he's going to play actually, but I know he's playing somewhere. I swear to God. But yeah, like, he was really cool. He didn't know how to, like, at first I didn't know how to, I didn't know how to like really like come at him. Like in a sense of like, what type of energy can I like, how much of me can I actually be?
Oh yeah, definitely.
You know? But then like after a while, like you can tell, like I was just like, I'm like, oh, you're a control freak. And I'm just like, oh shit, yeah.
And his girl totally was just like, yup.
And that was like, you know, and that was the perfect thing, because like if she wasn't there, like he could have gotten hot, you know. But if she's giggling, you can't be mad, you know. Like so, like it was cool. And like yeah, he was a good sport all the way through. Yeah. But like yeah, that was the first. I listened to like comedy podcasts. So like. Everything to me has to be like somewhat silly, you know, at the end of the day. Like we can talk about like serious shit. And that could be fun and that can be dope. I think like I'm going to skip some episodes and talk about the Chris one. And that one's what, episode 8, 9?
Let's see. That was episode.
Yeah, episode 8.
8. Yeah.
And yeah, like that was really cool. Like, but that was the first time where like I was just trying to soak up game, you know, and just be like, oh shit, like,
dude, His stories were wild.
Insane. And he's like a godfather of this shit, you know? Like he's godfathered in for sure in all avenues. Like he doesn't just DJ. He's also like a good businessman, you know, with like a creative side and everything. And it's insane. Like
it's his second business, right, that he's on now?
Right.
He had another one before. He said.
Yeah. He had I forgot what it was called. Yeah, the name that I was thinking is definitely not it.
We won't even try.
Yeah, I think it was Flamed.
Oh yeah, I think it was something like that.
Hell yeah, I think so. Shout out me.
He says it in the episode. I just forgot.
Yeah, but no, yeah, that one was really cool. It was just like I was really he was just giving me so many stories, and in those stories were like real gems. You know, like real, like this is what you should think about, you know, like long term, and like everything about timing. And timing was really like important in most of his stories, which is really cool because, yeah, I think about timing all the time, you know, but like it's just so interesting how like sometimes you could be at like your lowest, you know, or some shit, and like all of a sudden like little things just come up, you know, and kind of keep you going.
Yeah.
And like that's been super interesting, honestly. And then especially with these things, like if I like sometimes I'll think about something that was said in the podcast, and I'm able to like go back to it, you know. And like, you know, it's so insane to me. And it's like my first time, like outside of like releasing mixes and bullshit, like that's just like me releasing a mix that I did like 62 other mixes that weren't good enough. And this was the one that you got.
Yeah.
This is a one shot fucking deal. Yes, we can edit everything, but like this is a one time thing, you know? Like we're not going to do this again, you know? Like we don't have the time. I have 2 jobs. Matt has a job.
The second time,
you know,
you're almost forcing it too. So it's like, you
you
got to get it that first take. And
yeah.
If you don't, it's just a learning experience. But I think you've been killing it so far with it.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And like, yeah, that's what I've been telling myself also.
No, bro, like it just feels like you're definitely like an official host of everything. The way you handle everything.
It really did come from that second episode where like I had everything written down, everything from the intro to the questions, and then like I could like because of how the questions were written, if like he said something that skipped a couple steps from my schedule, the next 4 questions are lined up for him, you know? So like, it was like, all right.
See, I don't think like that when it comes to, so that's why it's like different minds.
Yeah. No, it was cool. Cause like I came at it as like a DJ. Like it was like, okay, well, like at this time of my set, I want to be here. And like at this time of my set, I want to like end with a bang, you know? So like, that's why in a couple of the episodes, I'll be like, okay, so like if I'm going to give you like, you know, like a word and you tell me what this means. And this is just me experimenting. Yeah. It's experimenting with my buds also, which is like, you know, a bad thing to say, I guess. And you know, out loud, but like, you know, it's like you're going back to back with someone at like a house party versus going back to back with someone at like a club. Like I get to like play a little more, you know, I get to like take bigger swings. Cause like, even if like I say some chicaderous shit, which I will, it like we can edit it out. So yeah, shout out to the power of editing. And also, like, once we get monetized, YouTube will tell me when I fucked up, you know? And then we don't get paid. So, yeah.
When the time comes, we'll be more careful.
Yeah. But, like, the episode after Jordan, I think was Jimmy.
Jordan was Jimmy.
Yeah. And Jimmy in that episode, I'm going to say this out loud. He looked like Winnie the Pooh. I'm going to say it out loud. I said it. I did. You know?
That's hella funny. The color scheme.
Yeah, just the color scheme of everything was just fucking hilarious.
That's funny.
But no, Jimmy was a fucking that one was a fucking
that episode.
A goofy time, you know.
He's probably the most we've smoked before in episode 2.
That's also very true. I was so high
because most of your guests are not heavy smokers, but Jimmy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Jordan is a heavy smoker, but I think we had enough beers to like keep him entertained.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, it was cool. And literally it was like Jimmy reminds me of like a cousin, you know? He gives me cousin vibes where I can just be like, yo, bro, like blah, 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 and like talk about real shit if we really wanted to, or just keep being silly.
Yeah.
You know? And like, yeah, that one was cool. And he brought like a unique perspective to everything, being from like the Valley, not because he's black, everyone, but because he comes from the Valley, he has like a different perspective on everything. As to like when he takes time to go to your event, he's taking time, like a chunk of his time, to drive to your event. You know, like I'm coming from South Bay and it's still 45 minutes to an hour to get to SF. But to drive an hour and a half, you know, that's intense. And like, yeah, he's doing it because he loves you. So fucking appreciate that guy, man. Give him a big old hug for me also. But yeah, fucking that one was really cool. He like, that was the first one where like, we started talking before the podcast, and that was almost more interesting than what was said in the podcast. Like, and that was that was on me because I didn't know how to circle back, you know, and like, and I'll spill the beans now, you know, but like we were talking about like love and like him and his fiance, and like they're gonna get married soon and all this jazz, and like the stress on just like the marriage part and this, and like the marriage part is easy but the wedding part is difficult, and like those things, and yeah, it was super interesting because it was like you never really hear the guy's perspective on it, you know. And also like Jimmy's just like a, you know, he knows himself really well, so he's like okay with like being like, no, this is how I feel, you know. And I'm like, oh shit, like that's cool because I'm sort of the same way. I'll tell you how I feel. That doesn't mean I'm right. I'm just telling you how I feel. And that's someone who goes to therapy. You can tell. Like, but yeah, dude, yeah, no, speaking of therapy, like therapy kind of like is dope. Don't get me wrong. BetterHelp.com, be a sponsor. But like it gives me a way to argue like a woman. Like,
oh fuck.
But like it really does. It like gives me the vocabulary to be like, all right, I hear you. I know what you're saying, and I'm like, I'm taking that in. But like the way that it makes me feel, not necessarily that, you know, I'm saying the correct thing, but the way that it makes me feel is X, Y, and Z, you know? And like, I didn't if I like, you know, there's so many arguments with my exes. If I would have gone to therapy earlier, like, there wouldn't have been an argument. Like I would have been like, oh no, I kind of get it. All right, you're kind of right. Like I'm a piece of shit, and like, you know, like yeah, you're right. Yeah,
hindsight's 2020, bro.
You know, and it's crazy. But like now my arguments aren't even arguments. They're just kind of like conversations, and then there's just a period at the end, and there's like almost like zero resolution. You know, where it's just like, okay, I feel you.
Yeah.
But then what? You know, like what are we doing? So that's something that I will now have to talk to my girl about.
We'll definitely be watching this.
Yeah. But no, it's like, yeah, like that's the one thing that I do appreciate about therapy though, is that like, I can kind of like bring a different in. I'm really trying with these conversations with people to like kind of put myself in their shoes and be like, all right, but like, what would I do in your situation? Or like, how do I feel about this? Or like, if I was, you know, if I was actually producing music, how would I feel about Latin house producers? You know, I know how I feel of just a casual fan. All you guys do. But like, that's, you know, like how, like, would I have the same resentment, or would I be like, damn dude, no, I know what it takes to make a song like that, you know, and appreciate that, versus me who's just like, no, that's not the right shade of red. Yeah. You know, like, but yeah, it's just kind of, you know, yeah. There's definitely conversations that I've had off camera with people, and they're like, you kind of went a little hard. And I was like, I know, but like, also like, hear me out though. And they're like, no, I heard you, but like, you know, like, okay, no, I see it. Yeah. And yeah, it's just like, yeah, I mean, it's growth, but also just like, I'm still waiting for the white guy to say it to me. There's just been a bunch of brown guys telling me like, dude, you kind of went hard. And I'm like, oh, I hear it. When it's coming from your people, you hear it easier.
Yeah.
But like once there's like a white guy who's like, nah, but like I'm hella good at this. And I'll be like, all right, well, You are hella good at this. Like, I can't be mad at you. You know what I mean? And like, yeah, that's bound to happen.
Eventually, well, yeah.
It really would. But yeah, like that one, like that was like a Jordan conversation that we had, or Alexander conversation. And then like after the Jimmy one, like, or during the Jimmy one, like we did that word association game. And that one was really fun. It was kind of like a game. The same way that like with John, we ended off with like random, like kind of like quick fire questions.
Yeah.
Like, what's your favorite like Disney movie, and blah blah blah, and that led to something. And that one was a really fun one because it was just like all the other shit was just like, oh, tell me about how creative you are and how do you feel about this, and like but like we were like with that one, it was just like, dude, like what's your favorite Disney movie?
Yeah.
Like, you know, or like what sea animal would you be? What bird would you be? And like shit like that.
That was cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
What bird or which bird? Yeah.
Yeah. He was like what, a hummingbird, right? I think. Something like
it was
that.
like a hummingbird. Yeah.
Yeah.
I forget. Yeah, something like that though. Something.
My favorite part of that episode was when we were talking about Disney, and then he was just like, does Marvel count? And I was like, nah, hell no, hell no. He's like, oh, and then you're like, oh, I was about to ask that. And he was like, because I'm like, no, I get it. Like, Marvel's Disney. And he's like, is it though? Is it? And we're both like, yeah, like very much so owned by Disney. But yeah,
yeah, dude.
Yeah,
I promise.
that shit was hella funny. And then after the Jimmy one, it was our Christmas episode.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, and that Christmas episode was really sick.
That was
like
good.
that one was like that one, like I'm like, I like Foley, you know. I like him. I really do. He's a good guy. But like, yeah, it was like the first time that we had someone like, you know, actually like prominent, you know,
Yeah.
and like doing something in the game and like has his name and like could potentially, if he fucking tried harder, be in festivals and like doing stuff like that. And yeah, I mean, not that he hasn't, but like he can be in a lot more for sure, and not be third tier. Yeah, that's a shot at fucking Fresh Start.
Yeah.
But yeah, fucking Foley's episode was really cool because we also got Kenny. Kenny gives a completely different perspective to a lot of things. He's very lively, but also very, very smart. And he's like very wise. Yes, he's old, you know, but he's also just wise, you know. And like that comes with like maybe potentially like because he's also a father and like all this other stuff, and like he just has a different mentality as to like, yeah, I'm hustling and like blah blah blah, but like I'm setting myself up for the long term game of like ownership and like, you know, this is who I am and this is what I'm doing, and putting his name behind everything, which is really cool. Because that's essentially, I mean, almost literally what I'm doing with this podcast, you know?
Yeah.
It's just like putting my name on it and just trying to do a different thing, which has been really cool and it's been really fun. Especially because like with Matt, like we listen to the same podcast. So like, I'll be like, oh dude, with this one, I was trying to do like this podcast or that podcast.
Even from week where you're just like, you see that most recent episode?
Yeah.
I was trying something like that. I'm like, oh dude, like.
And it's just like, and like
you're one of the few people I think I can talk like that with, because my other friends, they don't watch podcasts like
at
that.
all,
No.
right? Like same with me, and I actually like kind of watch them.
Yeah, I like,
You
and then
know?
I'll just have them on in the background and stuff
Yeah.
like that too sometimes. But yeah, it's just,
Like I honestly rarely I'll
no, it's hard for me to just listen.
listen to it. It's always on my TV streamed, you know. And like one time, like I even watched a podcast with my girl, and like. It was an Are You Garbage podcast, which is like a really good podcast if you haven't listened to it. It's fucking hilarious.
Dude,
and it's like a really simple podcast where they just get someone and you just ask them. You ask everyone essentially the same questions for the most part.
Different variations, but yeah, pretty much the same question.
Yeah, but they're the same type of question, you know? It's like, how garbage are you? And this is like white or like middle America garbage. Not necessarily white, but just middle America. And it's fucking hilarious because I'm fucking garbage.
Dude,
Like,
yeah.
everything that I do is completely garbage, apparently.
It's funny because they'll get certain guests. I'm like, oh, this guest is not garbage. And then they start talking to them, asking questions, and you're just like, holy shit, this guy's garbage,
Yeah.
dude. Like, they have terrible habits.
Dude, everything. Like, dude, yeah. Like, yeah.
fucking-
Like brushing your teeth in the shower.
Yeah, that's weird, bro.
Damn.
Do you do it? Do you do it?
Yeah.
I feel like I've done it once, but then as soon as the paste hits my body, and you just feel that weird cooling sensation.
Yeah.
What is that?
It's
cool.
it's fun. Also, you know, I'm on a tight schedule.
I was gonna say, if you're on a time crunch, then go for it. But I've done it once.
I'm on a tight schedule, dude. Like, I'm out there fucking hustling, bustling on fucking Call of Duty. I gotta squeeze that one last game and just fucking kind of force everything all at once in the shower. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's just a little insight on me.
Little garbage portion.
But yeah, fucking the next with that Christmas episode was really fun because I bought little things for it and tried to decorate it. In future
the thumbnail too is like super festive.
Yeah, my favorite thing about the page so far that I take real pride in is like you can almost see the calendar year. Hopefully, like. By the end of it, like that's where my goal is. Like for episode 6, I was gonna, because it was also my birthday episode of that one, and I was gonna do that. Like I didn't know what to do, whether to bring like Thanksgiving bullshit or like birthday shit. Like like how fucking, what is the word? Fucking
was it to celebrate your own birthday or what?
Like
narcissistic?
Yeah, how narcissistic is it for me to just bring myself like shit and be like, all right, here's my birthday sash.
It's like a different world in the podcast world.
That's
like,
true.
You
have
to like,
it's a play.
So like any moment like that, it's like you got to use that moment to like let's use it for something.
Yeah.
So like other people would think, oh, I don't even think people would think you were conceited or anything like that. I think it would just be like.
Because even for yours, for yours, we did something really tiny and we just got.
But that was cool though.
Yeah.
I was just shout out.
I think it was also like the third episode.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so it was just like also like, all right, well, like.
I think the balloon stayed there for like an extra episode, and then like.
But no, it was just like, all right, well, like that's I'm thinking of things a little bit, guys, like a little bit. Because, obviously, like, some of you guys know, like, we're backlogging some of these, okay, fuckers? We're doing that. But
we have full-time jobs still.
Yeah, because, like, also, like, the more we backlog, the more likely that we might be able to post every week.
Yes, and that's kind of
so, like, that's something for your benefit. So just bear with us. Some of these conversations, you're going to hear people be like, oh, I can't talk about that quite yet. And then when the episode comes out, like they would have already talked about it. But like just fucking deal with it, dude.
It's hard to time it too. Like for us, we're just thinking about it like, well, if it comes out then and this show, it's like
no one in our fucking field has a media tour run. I'm apparently the one-stop shop, and it's really hard when you have 2 jobs, a girlfriend, and fucking still try to go out to the nightlife and shit. Like it's hard to maintain anything. Matt has a job. He wants a fucking life. He wants to do shit. And so you fuckers start paying us.
Then I'll be glad to quit and do this full time.
Yeah, dude. Even if it really wouldn't take a lot, guys.
Or even to go part-time shit.
Dude, yeah. Like it wouldn't take a lot, so just fucking like, comment, subscribe.
Start there, right? Then when we create that Patreon, you make sure you support us.
Yeah. Soon
that'll be the flagrant content.
Yeah. Soon some of you guys actually know me and like, no, I kind of bite my tongue a little bit on this podcast.
We still have an episode that's unreleased too.
I can't put it on YouTube, not even for my own sake, even though all the stories are about me, but it's because like we entrap so many fucking people, and I'm so sorry. I really am, but it's gonna be on patreon.com/George.Daniel. Yeah. So just fucking stay tuned for that one, and then maybe like we're thinking of things of like how to keep you guys like entertained and like blah blah blah, and like I understand these 2-hour-long episodes may be a lot, but also like they're really insightful. But maybe what we would do is just put half of it on YouTube for free, and then if you want the full thing and you know that you're gonna fucking love it, and fucking go on
like
Patreon.
The big highlights on YouTube, and then we can put the full like in detailed like chalk and shop kind of
and like that would be fun. Cool. If that's what you're into, like I would really want to know how you guys want to see this podcast, and like, do you want to see this caterer shit? Because there's an episode that had that was super edited. And yeah, like
It'd be funny if they could guess, but I doubt it.
but you know, like there was just one that was just super fun, and like there's other ones that like post cameras being off and everything. Like, was it like we're just talking?
So
shit?
sometimes I like to leave the cameras running still, but like it's over. It's just
Right.
like things will still be on. Because maybe catch something hella funny at the end. This movie we won't post it, but maybe we can use it.
Yeah.
For a page.
Because sometimes it's just like, oh shit, fuck, did I just say that? And then that could be it. You know? But yeah, nah, it's like thus far it's been really fun. And then yeah, that Fully and Kenny episode, we talked like with someone with like a legit manager. Also, since the beginning of his career, and I think I said it then, like. Industry plan, you know, like how do you have a manager and nothing going on? Like,
fucking cool.
like, dude, but also like Fully's fucking the best. Yeah, I know. I fucking bust his balls and everything, but he's a good guy. Go support him.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, and then our latest one that we just had, or not our latest one, but episode 9. Was the first time that we kind of like experimented with artists, different genres of artists. And that was Jaisto is I think how he pronounced it.
Jaisto, yeah.
Yeah, Jaisto. And Snack, which honestly, Snack is fucking adorable, dude. Snack is fucking adorable.
Yeah.
Honestly, Snack deserves their own podcast.
Yeah.
Like for sure.
Definitely.
Like honestly,
We'll get them back on.
yeah. Also, fucking, you know how Jaisto was talking about fucking going to LA and all this bullshit and all this other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He drove all the way to LA, went to the venue. I'm not gonna say what venue because I want to play there also. Went to the venue, talked to the promoter. The promoter wouldn't give him his like set time or anything like that, and he was DMing him and all this bullshit. And then out of nowhere, they were like, okay, well, once one of these two artists like cancel and call it that they're going to be late, then we'll put you on this spot. But he was just like, but you told me to come down here, you know, like
What?
and all this shit. And then next, you know, like nobody called out or some shit happened.
play?
And then right when he put on his USB and everything, they turned on the club lights.
Dude.
Dude. Didn't even get to play a single song. Drove all the way down there, all because of bad planning. Just bad planning. And not like, and also bad planning, but also like no one had the heart to tell the kid, you know, when he was driving. Maybe I don't know if he drove or flew,
Yeah.
but it's still hours, you know, to LA, like. You know, he told his buds, hey, dude, I'm playing at X, Y, and Z. You should pull up and blah, blah, blah. And it's a really, like, it's not the club's fault at all. But it's, like, definitely the promoters. I don't know their names, so, like, I'm not even going to, like, shoot shots like that. But L.A., man, dude, step it up a little bit, you know?
That's unfortunate. That's
Yeah.
cool.
Because he seemed really hyped about it in the episode. And, yeah, fucking shitty. But yeah, and then fucking Snack is so fucking funny. They fucking put some clips up on their story.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it was just fucking hilarious to see. Finally, you know, you fuckers can pull this off of fucking YouTube, right? Mm-hmm. Like all you artists that come on here, anyone, you guys can rip this at any given time. Yeah. That's how I make my clips. You know, I'm not sitting there on my laptop making them. No, I'm poor and I'm lazy. I'm not gonna learn a new thing.
Your clips are dope, man.
But like they get the job done.
Yeah,
you know,
they're dope.
like they get the job done. So yeah, fucking that's how I make my clips. Fucking
Still don't know how you do the subtitle thing.
On Instagram, you just press caption. There's a caption mode.
Yeah, I haven't even fucked with it like that. I don't even know.
It does it for you, dude. AI is the future. I don't know why people are learning. I don't know why people are learning fucking coding and anything. That my girl is. So like, I'm sorry, but I'm still taking shots at her. Love you. But no, yeah, it's fucking. I don't know. The clips have been really fun to make also because they're like my favorite moments, and some of them like pop up pretty well. Not just on Instagram, but also on YouTube.
Yeah.
That surprises me.
I know when I'm uploading, I get to see like the counts and everything, and I'm just like, whoa,
Yeah.
thousands of some of these clips.
But what I think I noticed that like the last clips that I put up on YouTube, they have the Instagram little thingy that pops in the watermark. And those ones only have like 5 views. The other ones that don't have it have like fucking 1,000.
How come it
plus.
has it on certain ones though?
Because now I'm making them. I used to make them on YouTube and then put them on Instagram, but now I'm doing that vice versa. Because instead of me having to like stitch each phrase, Instagram does it for me. And I'm lazy and poor. Remember that.
No, that's sick. Yeah, I figured it was something it was doing for you. I just didn't know where you were editing it. So
Yeah.
I was like, oh, so it's Instagram. Okay.
Yeah, so it's Instagram because it's just way easier. And it allows me to chop everything up.
The algorithm is weird, bro. Like we just keep playing it and you just gotta play this game, and it's just find a new recipe. It's gonna hit. And
Yeah, it's bound to, it's been working pretty all right. Like,
I like
honestly, like it's been really fun. Like a lot of you people who start following the Instagram and everything, like I notice you and I see you and I know I don't.
I just noticed the followers pretty up there already.
Yeah, like we're about to hit 300, dude. Like, if not, we would already hit it. Yay, 300. But fucking yeah, dude. Like it's been tight. Like we have more followers than some of you local DJs.
Trippy.
Like,
Dude, those clips, bro. The clips and then the constant just promoting
It's
yourself.
fucking
That's
sick,
really what it's
dude.
about. Like,
And yeah, I know. And also, once again, I know I'm gonna rub people the wrong way a little bit. I talk my shit a little bit, like allow me to hype myself up. I'm sad and depressed for the most part,
you should be hyping yourself up.
But it's been tight, like we've been doing shit,
We're doing it, and it feels natural, and
it
doesn't feel forced. It just,
dude. Honestly, to be quite frank, like I don't like on a week to week basis. I don't get the same like hypedness or like feeling of like, oh shit, we're doing something than this, like even when I was DJing like more frequently, like I didn't get the same feeling. It felt like more like a job,
this is like for sure my favorite time of the week.
It's so much fun. It's something I look forward to. I think about it all the time. Like I think about like the questions and everything. Like you can tell that like I went from having my laptop right in front of me and everything to now I don't even have anything, because like now I kind of like I know where to go and blah blah blah. And sometimes yes, Matt even has to text me and be like, hey, it's getting a little too long. But yeah, it's just like it's been tight. It's been because like I don't get these opportunities to talk to you guys, and I don't think I ever really will unless I like invite you out, somewhere, and then have these conversations. But yeah, it's been cool. And then the last episode that we did with Johnny, Thomas, and Alex was super sick, and like that one, like we said earlier, got like sprung up on us because it was originally only supposed to be Thomas and Johnny. But then Alex came by, which is super sick because it was really nice to meet him, and I saw his Instagrams everywhere, like he's a photographer and everything. But and then I do remember seeing him on the Odd Mob lineup, but like I didn't know who he was, so like I just thought it was like one of Odd Mob's like supporting people that they brought, and yeah, and to know that Alex was
Alex DJs too, though, right?
Yeah, is his name like Vlax? Vlax? I think it was something like that.
Yeah.
It's Alex backwards. I don't know.
Oh
yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. But yeah, he was really fucking. He was another person who I've never met before this fucking podcast,
That was super interesting for me because I was hearing all his photography stuff, and I'm just starting to learn the photography stuff.
Right.
I started off with just the videography stuff is like my main thing, and the audio, but now I want to actually go out and shoot pictures, and I'm just learning. So hearing him talk about it, it's like, oh, okay, some insight. And
yeah, it's super sick. It's like that's what this podcast is. Like I'm learning everything from everyone, even if it's just like how they got the promoter to get to them. If you're a photographer, it's a different way than when you're a DJ. With the Snack and Jaisto episode, we were talking about EPKs and how important that is, and how like all that stuff is to send out to these venues, these managers, these promoters, these label heads, and all this other stuff. Like that is super important. And then with a photographer, it's everything about your portfolio, you know. And then like with people like Allison and Chris Martinez, they're working retail essentially, you know, like they have their own brick and mortar for the most part, you know. I know Allison is still waiting for a storefront, but she's fucking almost there, like for sure.
Gonna get it.
And you're gonna see everything that was on that last episode is technically for sale. So you guys can go ahead and see that one or the next one.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be the next one.
Yeah. Next one.
We can release it how we want to release it, but yeah, it'll probably be the one after this.
Yeah. But that one, everything that's pretty much there is going to be for sale. So you can literally comment and be like, hey, like how much for that bench? How much for that plant? How much for that, you know, table, coffee table, fucking blah, blah, blah. Everything except for the human bodies up for sale.
Unless they say, I mean,
hey, also just name your price. I don't know, maybe. Also, our shipping and handling is not included. But yeah, that episode's gonna be super fun. I hope you guys enjoy that one. It's kind of like exactly who I am as a person. A little bit is where I get to have short form conversations with a group of people, and this is kind of how I am at festivals. Also a little practice run as to when we do get to go to festivals and Coachella and everything. We got to host a tent, you know, like that would be so much fun, and it's gonna happen. But also maybe not Coachella, but just whoever pays the most. We're gonna make that happen and do all this dope stuff. But yeah, for what it's worth, thank you guys for fucking listening. It's been really cool. It's been really fun. You guys keep me on my toes. I know what you guys would want to. I mean, I know what I would want to listen to, but I would want you guys to tell me what you guys want to listen to. The questions, the guests, if you guys want long form content, you know, or short form content, and like just things like that, you know. And like, how do you want us to implement the podcast into real life? And we're not gonna have a live podcast quite yet, because we're not there, and only 2 of you guys will show up. But
like an actual live podcast, like that's getting broadcasted to YouTube live, would be interesting. But maybe we start a Twitch or something.
Yes,
I was gonna say that's kind of what everyone's predicting is the next step in this podcast thing, where everyone's gonna start doing the lives more.
Yeah. So I mean, maybe if that's what you're into, and maybe that's like how you would like to see it, where it's just completely like uncensored, but like filtered for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Because monetization. But yeah, fucking we're gonna try different avenues, different things. That last episode with Snack, that one was an hour long. That was an experiment. It's not because I don't like them. It's an experiment. I'm just trying to see what you guys want. Give you guys different tastes, different things, until we completely refine this. We're on episode 11, you know. Once we hit 111, it's gonna be a fucking show. You know, where we got locked in. But yeah, for what it's worth, the next episode is gonna be a dope one with a bunch of guests. So that one's gonna be really fun. It's just gonna be a vibe. Also, we're doing a Taco Tuesday, somewhere special, with special guests. So different scenery, different conversations, some recaps, and yeah, it's gonna be dope. And then we have some people, a group, a duo, if you will, that is super fucking sick, and I've been really wanting to talk to them. I met them at Halcyon not too long ago with 96 Vibe and Fully and everyone. So that was really dope. Before they went to LA for, I believe it's a space yacht. I don't know if it was a space yacht or if it was just their own show. But yeah, they are fucking dope. If you know how to use Instagram or Google or whatever, you'll know who they are. But they're fucking dope.
Exciting.
But yeah, outside of that, I do want to, give a shout out to our sponsor for the one last time. You can find Liquid Death at www.liquiddeath.com or at your local convenience store, 7-Eleven, Walmart, and all that jazz. But yeah, outside of that, peace.
Peace.